Hi, this is Mckay with 5-Star Commerce, and I'm going to talk to you about why paying hourly is the best way to pay your Amazon freelancers or agency. Now, number one is it forces them to spend time and attention on your business. Right? If you think about a flat fee, that company is making the same amount of money either way. So they'd like to spend as little time on your business as possible, right? And a lot of time with a flat fee, you don't even necessarily know who's working on your account. It may be somebody you think is really experienced and has a lot of credentials, but it might be somebody brand new. It might even be somebody in a totally different country. With hourly, there's just a lot more transparency, and that natural incentive to do more work, not less, is really effective. And if you're thinking, well, what if they spend too much time and they just take up the budget and do things that they don't need to do? I've never heard of that happening even once. I've never heard of a single company where their freelancer agency does too much work. And obviously, of course, you could establish some type of limit or something like that if you need it. Right? Okay, second is it's really going to maximize your upside. So if you compare it to some type of situation like a percentage of sales situation, they agree to take a certain amount of your sales, so then you don't have to pay so much up front. Right? Well, what you're doing is that agency is taking on a lot of risks, so they're going to have to take a decent, pretty big, actually, percentage of all those sales, and even bigger percentage of your profits. Right? So if you already know your brand's going to be successful, that's not going to make sense for you because you're going to drastically overpay. Right? Now, another thing is with hourly, the fees go down drastically over time. Usually most of the work is upfront at the beginning when you're launching all the products, you're getting everything going for the first time. And then after that, growing the business, it doesn't take quite as much time, right? And when it doesn't take quite as much time, your fees go down, right? And you'll never hear an agency charging flat fees. They'll never come to you and say, hey, it's not taking that much work. Maybe we'll just give you cut your rate a little bit. But if it spends more time than they expect, they're going to come and they're going to need to ask for more money, as they should, which is fair. Now, fourth, and this is my last one, even though there's a lot more other points, is the agency actually has cash flow to pay top people, right? So comparing it to a percentage of sales situation again, a lot of the time the sales don't get to a really high level for 6, 12 months, right? And that agency is not going to have the money immediately they're not going to want to pay somebody who's really good and expensive. That's another way they're going to have an incentive to go cheaper, and you may not get the quality that you deserve, right? And another thing is maybe if I compare this to like record labels, right? So record labels sign bands, but 90% of the bands that get signed by a record label never get any marketing. They never get any help from the record label. Right? The record labels just sign a bunch of bands, and then the ones who are already going to do well, who are going to be easy wins and easily make a lot of money for the record label, then they focus on those ones, right? So if you're doing some type of percentage of sales agreement, you may find yourself in that same situation. If it turns out your product needs a little bit more attention, and needs a little bit more work to really make it do well on Amazon, you may not be able to get that. They're not going to want to spend your time on that. And worst of all, you probably have to agree to stick with them for a certain amount of time, and it may be difficult to get out of. So anyway, that's a few of my thoughts. Obviously, I'm biased, but I really think for most brands, paying hourly is going to give you the best bang for your buck and is going to give you a drastically higher ROI over time. Thank you.